Hi, I'm Sarah Cramer and I work for the Oakland Zoo, and this October, October 2008, I was lucky enough to get to help lead a trip to Uganda and Rwanda, and while we were traveling we got to visit several of the conservation projects that the zoo supports there. And my friend Arun is helping me make this video so that I can share my experiences at the Budongo Forest Project with you, because it was such a meaningful experience and it was so interesting. I felt like I had to do something to help the project when I came back, and so we're making this video. The Budongo Forest Project has a research site called the Budongo Conservation Field Station, and it's one of the last remaining sort of original forest blocks in Uganda. And it started out just doing chimpanzee research, and now they've opened that up to other types of research too. But the Oakland Zoo comes into play with their snare removal program. So one of the largest threats to chimpanzees in the wild is snares set in the forest. And the snares aren't set for the chimpanzees themselves, they're set for the small forest antelopes. But the trouble is, any animal walking through the forest can get caught in them. And a number of chimpanzees throughout Africa are missing, digits, fingers, toes, hands, or feet because of these snares set in the forest. So I wanted to share with you what the rangers shared with us to really see these snares in action. The first type of snare they showed us was just sort of your simple wire noose, and it can actually be made out of wire or out of nylon thread. And this gentleman is a former poacher himself. This is one of the things I really like about this community, this project, is that they support the community. So all of the rangers who now remove snares from the forest are former poachers themselves, and they're really proud of what they're doing now, and they've really, learned a lot from the Budongo Forest Project about the ecosystem that they've lived in their whole lives, and now they're really proud of the fact that they get to help protect it. And they were wonderful, wonderful hosts for us. So here he is. He's already set up one of the snares, and it's really hard to see it in this picture. If I didn't know it was there, I would think it was just a vine. What they do is they set up the snares along the sort of natural footpaths through the forest. So it's where the animals are going to be walking anyway, and that way they just walk right into it. And again, it's set at a height that would catch a forest antelope around the neck. But for chimpanzees, when they knuckle walk through the forest, it's usually a hand or foot that goes into the noose. And another important thing to know is that none of these snares kill the animal. They're not deadly snap traps. The whole point is just to ensnare the animal and keep it there until the hunter comes back, sometimes days later, and then they kill the animal. So it's not in any way a humane or sort of safe practice. So here is that snare, now with his hand in it. It's a lot easier to see, hidden among the vines there. And then this is what happens. He put his own wrist in it to show that how if a chimpanzee would put their arm through the snare, it would encircle around their wrist and tighten. Now, chimpanzees are really strong, and this wire snare is just anchored to a tree sapling or something. And so they pull the snare right out of its anchor and then are traveling around with this wire noose around their finger, their wrist, and as it gradually gets tighter and tighter, and that it eventually amputates the digit. And they have a pretty strong immune system, and so they usually survive that amputation, but then they're left crippled for the rest of their life. The next type of snare they showed us is called the landmine, and it was so dramatic the first time they did it for us that we made them set it off again, and here's the video I took that shows what happens. Insert video here.
So when the animals come, this is the path of animals. So the biker came and stepped here.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Wow, it's really serious. I was not expecting that. That poor animal. I can only imagine.
The last kind of snare they shared with us is called the man trap, and it's the trap that I think most Americans are familiar with, you know, that steel-jawed snap trap. But it's interesting to know that they make them out of recycled car parts there, and so the issue of illegal poaching in the Budongo forest or other forests in Africa is a much larger issue than just a few local poachers, because there's somebody, you know, some machinist or mechanic at that auto body shop that's manufacturing these snares from the used car parts. So it's a more larger sort of profitable business than just limited to a few poachers trying to feed their families. And there's video of the man trap going off on a big stick.
And then cover it like this, because they don't want animals to see it. Now if a man, a chimp, any animal cross here, it will be caught there. Yeah, this is the dangerous. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. Okay, it is like this. Now as me here, walking like this, if I step there, it will just jump and cut my leg. I can show you how it can make it.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, that's
These those are whoa. Amputee.
So that's the end of your leg.
Yeah.
The staff of the Budongo Field Station was kind enough to host us for 2 days because the zoo has given between $6,000 and $10,000 almost for a decade now to support this snare removal project. And you know, this is one of those great projects where a little money goes a long way. That money pays their salaries and all of their equipment costs for a full year, and the zoo, we're just so proud of making that kind of difference in the world. Because we are affiliated with the project, we got to visit, the conservation station that's not normally open to the public, and they were just such wonderful hosts. And this is the first chimpanzee that I got to see in the wild. It was an incredible moment. We had just come from our snare demonstration, and we're walking back to the field station for lunch, and we came across one of the researchers who is tracking these guys and recording their activities. And it was two brothers way down the path, and they were grooming each other, and they're orphans. Their mom died of a snare-related injury, but fortunately both of them were old enough to be able to take care of themselves, and they now watch out for each other, and they have a pretty strong brotherly relationship. And it was just incredible to see them in the wild, and I am so proud of what the staff is doing at the Budongo Field Station, and I'm just so happy to share that with you and be a supporter of this organization. So you should check them out. They have a couple different websites, including budongo.org, and there you can see a great picture of Fred, who's the head of the project, and was a wonderful host for us. So thanks for watching.